What's up, everybody? Welcome to SHAPIRO'S Rooted in American Craft. I am Matt, along with my awesome sister, Elena. Hope everyone's having a great week. I hope you had an awesome Labor Day weekend and you're able to enjoy a few days off and hopefully you got outside or got in the pool or whatever you did on your Labor Day. Elena and I got to work, so that was fun.
Woo!
But hopefully you guys got to enjoy, and we're excited you're joining us this week. How are you, Elena?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
It's been a whirlwind of a few weeks. It's crazy that it's already September.
I
It's
know.
crazy that the holidays are 3 months, 4 months away, something like
Mm.
that. 3 months away. So it'll be here before you know it, and we're now on to episode 7 or 8, I think.
Something like that.
So it's been fun. Last week we got to learn a little bit about me. In the future, I'm sure we'll have you on so we get to learn a little bit more about you. But this week, I'm really excited for our one of our favorite jewelers, Meghan Patrice Riley, who had an awesome interview.
Yeah.
We were able to interview her a couple days ago, so you'll notice our outfits are going to be a little bit different. And I would really encourage anyone that's listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts and just audio, definitely jump over to the YouTube page and check out the visual part of this podcast. There's a lot of visual explanation, some demonstration. You'll definitely get a lot more out of this episode if you can get it on YouTube. And all you have to do is go to our YouTube page, Shapiro's Gallery, or just search Shapiro's Rooted in American Craft, and you'll be able to find the episode this week. To make things a lot easier as well, we're going to put it on our website, I believe, so you have a link directly to it, shapirogallery.com. Also, follow us on the various social media because we're going to be teasing clips from this week's interview. Shapiro's Gallery on Instagram, Facebook. You guys know where to find us. Please share it and tell all your friends. But I'm really excited for this week's episode. But before we get to Meghan, we're going to throw everyone a curveball and we're going to pivot this week. We know you guys like hearing about what we do outside of the gallery. However, it's now the fun time of the year. We have new stuff coming in. So, Elena, I know about the blown glass pumpkins that we used to have, and then we just got back in. What else do we have in the gallery?
Yeah, well, like Matt just mentioned, the holidays are only a few months away, so we're really starting to stock up the gallery with lots of new and exciting things. We got these brand new metal sculptures in a couple days ago. They're all made out of recycled metal, lots of like nuts and bolts that he makes into basketball players and skateboarders. And there's a female weightlifter. There's some really cool ones. And he is local to the Tampa Bay area as well. So we're pretty excited about that. What else have we gotten in? We've gotten in the blown glass pumpkins, like you mentioned. And then we're also really excited because our pet section of the gallery is back due to popular demand. So we have dog collars are back in stock. We have all sizes from extra, extra small all the way up to extra, extra large. Fun fabrics. Again, she's a local artist here from St. Pete that makes the dog collars. We have leash holders that we have back in. We still have our dog prints and some handmade dog soap. We have a really fun pet corner. So, next time you're in the gallery, you can come and shop for not only your, wife or husband and your grandkids, but your animals too. So we're really excited about the new additions that are back.
Yeah, and the nice thing is the dog collars are really durable. We had them about 4 or 5 years ago, and I had a pit bull at the time, and we had one on her, and she destroyed everything. And these collars she was not able to destroy or get through, so they're definitely really durable. And the coolest thing, as Elena mentioned, these new welded creations is what the studio's called. It's all just like the nuts and the bolts. And for those that love the Lightning, and hockey season is about 3 weeks away, we have some awesome hockey players as well. And
Yeah.
for those of us who try to be Rays fans, as tough as it's been this season, there's some really cool baseball themed ones as well. So if you need that gift for that sports fanatic, you just don't know what to get them. I was immediately drawn to these, and I'm a diehard sports fan, so definitely worth coming into the gallery and checking them out. And again, for those that are watching us on YouTube, you just saw pictures of the various items Elena was describing, and for those that are just listening, make sure you jump over to the YouTube page and definitely check out the video part of this podcast. And if you can't, just shoot us an email or give us a call, and we'll try to get you some pictures as well. But the reason that everyone's here, and the reason that I'm really excited, is we have an awesome interview. Like I said, we did this interview a couple days ago, and it was just fun. Meghan Patrice Riley is the jeweler that we interviewed, and she's just has that charisma and personality, and she's incredibly talented as well. So, without further ado, unless you want to add anything, Elena, you want to jump to the interview?
No, let's get to it.
All right, perfect.
Hi, hello everybody. How's it going? I'm Meghan Patrice Riley over our studio in Brooklyn, New York. I am a jeweler. I make contemporary jewelry. I've been doing this is my 15th year. This is our 15th year being here. Also, same studio, which is really amazing. We're in Greenpoint, like right north of Williamsburg, and we make I think really cool, really interesting, sustainable, structural, geometric, but also very classic in many ways jewelry. So we make jewelry out of this steel cable. So it's a little bit hard to see. Actually, I brought a background. Yeah. And so you can see a little bit here. It's very dainty and fine, but it has a lot of strength and flexibility. We use a lot of 14 karat gold fill, sterling silver, and then I'm bringing in freshwater pearls. And then the cable itself is a woven steel that's really flexible and light, but it's super, super strong. So I use it kind of like a textile and a metal at the same time. So we weave each circle by hand and then do these little connectors in the 14 karat gold fill. And we have 24 karat yellow gold plating over the steel here, so you get this lovely effect like you're like the gold, like a fine jewelry piece without the weight, the heaviness, and just like the lightness, which I really like. I feel like I use physics quite a bit, but I have magnet class. So these neodymium, these rare earth magnets, are super strong, and they're set also in the sterling and the 14 karat gold fill. And then I set them I set them for aesthetic, but also functional purpose with these quartz crystals. So it ends the piece really beautifully, but it also gives you a pull point so that it's really ease of use.
So you keep squeezing your jewelry. Are you ever worried about it breaking? Is that part of the benefit of your jewelry, that it is almost indestructible?
Yes, I think so. I mean, obviously there's nothing that's indestructible. If you run over it with a car, I do give that disclaimer. Also, the gemstones they're real gemstones, so they're, porous, and you have to be careful with chemicals. You have to be careful with anything, fine gold, platinum, anything. You have to be really careful. But what I love about what I do is I use this steel cable that looks so fine, but it's because of the woven technology, it makes it have tensegrity, which is tensile strength with like structural integrity, which means that it can do all of these things and crush into a little pouch based on how I fabricate and how I use it, and then it bounces back. So I do test things also myself. I'm hard on my jewelry and I like wearing it. So I travel with it too.
So Meghan, how did you get started in the jewelry industry?
Not by any normal way. I was an economist and I was writing papers for the government. So I did economic development research for like Habitat for Humanity and a bunch of foundations, like Enterprise Foundation that funds NPR. So I was doing a lot of more computer work. But I was making partnerships with people, and that's something I really love doing. I would go out and meet different like strategic partners, corporate, nonprofit, individuals, worked with clients, like homeless clients for a while. I really learned the groups I worked with. But I was making jewelry on the side, and I really enjoyed it. And San Francisco Museum of Modern Art saw what I was doing. I did a little like table in front of my house, like a neighborhood show, and they asked me to start building collections. And from there, I started really developing my aesthetic and style and really went with it because I had such a great reaction. I tested it out in a retail setting, and then started developing collections, got feedback from them, and then I got invited to their trunk show and started building collections and a catalog, and then got more museums, and it was kind of um, organic, and then started doing shows. So kind of just learned the industry, learned retail, learned the wholesale side. That's where I met you guys. It was one of my very first shows. I did Acts on the Design in New York. Now I just moved to New York. I walked the show because one of my galleries was like, "This is where you need to be. This is what you need to be doing. Come walk with me. This is what you need to know because these are the stores you want to be getting." I'm like, okay. So who I still talk to this day from LA because I come from California originally. So I have quite a few like aunties that help me, and so she kind of got me into New York now and told me this is the section you should be in. This is how you should present your that kind of thing. So I thought that was really important for the establishing my brand. I don't know how people. That's how you learn, right? You have to have people also who mentor you and help you and put your name in the right people's ears.
So do you have a design background? Because I mean, so many of your pieces are so design focused. I mean, there's no one that does what you do, and there's a ton of jewelers out there. So I mean, where does that come from?
Probably math.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably math.
Okay.
I like math. That's why I did statistical analysis. Was really my focus in economics, and I just started doing more social work. But I like spreadsheets and math. I do still use a lot of those ideas in my design, but also how I run my business. I would say, try to be organized, evolve and be learning constantly. And so for me to do that, I'm data driven. So I take feedback and learn and be like, okay, we have this in the collection. I'm missing this piece. So it kind of evolves from there. I don't sit down and be like, this is the full collection and I designed it in one night and now we're going to make it. It's personal too. I play and practice and try things. So I kind of push myself to learn also how to fabricate what we fabricate, because the way we make it is really unique as well, which I really value. And I'm the one developing how we make these fabrication techniques, and I teach them we have a couple of people that help me with fabrication, a lot of Pratt students.
Okay.
So I do try to do a lot of mentorship
Can you
there as well. Yeah.
take us through what's involved in making, like, for example, one of your more simple necklace? I won't say the one that you're wearing because that looks very
Yeah, this one is like
shit.
a whole day. It's just a lot of circles, but you have to sit. It's repetitive, and you have to have fine motor skills. But like in all jewelry, by the way, what we do is very detailed, and you have to have the right touch, and you have to develop that touch through practice, I think. I also draw. I brought some sketchbooks. I draw a lot and start playing with numbers and proportions. Oh, that's someone's numbers and proportions, and thinking about like how it's all going to fit together. And so some of this kind of I'll go back and forth. I have the sketchbook right there while I'm making it, because I'll be like, okay, this is working, this is not. Here I'm jotting down notes or like do this, and this to get to the final.
And so, are you comparing like size of pearls or size of stones in relation to the size of the circle? Okay.
Oh yeah, we have 5 for each. Anytime we bring a gemstone in, we'll bring in. I have to be able to get it in 3 sizes: necklace, bracelet, earrings. Generally, and some earrings have small and big. So it's like I'll go from 3mm to 6mm, and I'll scale the gemstone to the size of the piece, and so that has to be across the board for all. There's like a little rubric that works with all of every single design is like between 3 to 6mm. And so 3mm is this, 4mm. So each one will kind of has like it is very much scaled. I do think about that because I don't want any gemstone to be overwhelming. Everything I use, it's not like a strand of pearls. It's a dot or a piece of color that punctuates the piece, that adds to the geometry, I think, quite a bit, and brings I like bringing in color. And this is the way that I could bring in color without being like super colorful, but have some color. We do this. We just brought this in. This has been doing really well. Actually, we did this rainbow pearls.
Yeah.
And it has like yellow gold, but it's not, when you see this, it doesn't read like a rainbow necklace or a super colorful necklace, even though it is, because of all the gold and the just simplicity and the fineness. So that's really cool, especially against black. You can really see So this, I'll start with a sketch, and I'll kind of have like a gestural sketch, and then I'll start drilling down and saying, okay, I need an 18-inch necklace, so I need this part to be 6 inches. So that kind of gives me some constraints to start with.
And then each one of those circles are hand fabricated or handmade, or
I have specialty clippers for cable, because a regular clipper won't work because it has to get through all the steel. It's like steel on steel. So to have super razor cut, so I have to buy specialty flush cutters, so I can go through and start. I have these rolls of cable. This is the steel, what it looks like. Just natural with the nylon coating, so it makes it even more flexible.
Okay.
It kind of looks like a thread too, but it's infinitesimally like much stronger. So I'll cut it. This is a pretty thin one, and then I can start taking these little pieces. I have little pieces of gold and silver pre-cut in little tubes. Because I guess you can kind of see that. Sorry, I have everything organized by diameter, because they'll be like by millimeters, 2 millimeter and 3 millimeter again. And then I'll be able to take a piece and connect everything by hand. So it's like really kind of getting into this. I do make a lot of videos about this, but usually not.
So are all your pieces, they all start with that same steel wire, or and then you put the gold over it, or is the gold like a separate type of wire?
The gold is a separate wire that I have made.
Okay, got it.
Pre-made in Pennsylvania. And so they have a whole factory that does the braiding of the steel and then gold coats it, and then we have sterling silver also, okay. 24 karat yellow gold, the natural steel. We have a black nylon, and then they do a clear coat of nylon to protect the steel. So, because usually if you're just braiding it, it would eventually over time against your skin and oils break down and start fraying. So that would irritate your skin. So they use the nylon coating. So this is very physics, but that protects the cable, holds the braid together, and then adds a little bit more flexibility, because otherwise it would kink more also. But I do get there's a lot of little mini wires in each cable. There's like 24 or 49 of these little mini wires braided in each one of these cables. So this is me just doing like a simple circle, but it takes.
So now, how many of those circles are on?
Millions.
Like the
millions.
Your hand must kill you by the end of the day.
My hands are broken. Yes. There is no mold. You can't cast this. Like, this is made by hand. Like the ear hooks, you can't cast the ear hooks even. Those are made by hand. So I have ear hooks that we make. Literally, they look like they're production, but they're in a recycled Rio bag. They are not made by Rio. I'm like, I would gladly ask they could make them. That'd be cool. But we take wire over a acrylic jig, make this form, and then solder by hand to tubing, and then polish, and then we do a stainless steel tumble so they get work hardened and just like nice, and then start cold connect, building all the cable, every little cable thing from that. And you can see the millions of circles on one. It's like a whole necklace on one earring.
So how long would it take you to make an earring like that?
Okay, for me it's like 30 minutes, but I teach this and it's like hours for other people. So this is because I've done my 10,000 hours for sure. So I'm good at this. This is like some people when they're knitting or crocheting. I really like it. How I work to that way, where you get really like comfortable and you're just not even looking at it. That's how I am. It feels like spinning webs almost. Mm-hmm. You do have to look at it, but almost, because you'll hurt yourself with sharp pliers and stuff. But yeah, but it's again having that touch.
So how did you come up with this process? How did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, I just was playing because I was doing 18 karat gold work and it was so expensive. and I needed to iterate quickly. And so I found this 24 karat yellow gold cable. I was like, oh. And it's something from childhood. It's one of those things like when you first learn jewelry, you learn how to string beads, and you use this cable. It's kind of like the undercurrent, the structure behind the piece. And I remember my first like technical things I learned with my mom is how to do the loop and how to use the crimp. And I adapted that over time for me to sketch in. So I was using it as a sketch medium before I even got to the other. It's like animated. Before I even got to the final pieces, and then my SF MoMA saw the sketches, and as I put them out, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this could be something. We'll see. I had no idea what I was doing. And they were like, I love this. Can you do necklaces? Can you do bracelets? Like, and I'm like, okay. And I was just making this simple circle earring, which I have here. This is like the way it started. It was this is the first design. And I know you guys have had these. Like the most classic, this is like every single order has this. This has been still for 15 years the most popular piece in multiple sizes. So I was doing that, and I ended up just going with it and then learning so much about my material and building all these collections now.
So how do you think you've evolved over the past 15 years?
It definitely got better at making jewelry. I practiced a lot, but I also took a lot of time to learn about business and running a small business, a product-based small business, because I came from I sold services. I sold my services. So this was, I think, a huge learning experience. I learned a lot about our field in terms of craft. Also, that wasn't my peer group. To be with as many jewelers or artisans. So that was something I went out there and had created a group of friends and learned a lot and have community, which I really enjoy. And I came from community organizing, so I feel like that there's some alignment there, and I feel like I've continued a lot of that with our work. There's a lot. I mean, 15 years is a long time now.
Yeah.
We have people. I've mentored like people. I've worked with people. I've had interns. It's so cool. We've done runway shows. I didn't know it was good. I put a bunch of you put the things on your list. Put the goals on your list. I keep thinking that, and you can make them happen. Yeah.
So how was the runway show? What was that about?
I did when I first moved here. I got picked for the designers for Gossip Girl did a run. Yeah, this is how old I am. Okay, this is the original Gossip Girl. That's when I first moved here, and so it was like they had this like Lower East Side kind of like almost like punk rock runway show that we did. And they had a week of run. They had not a week. 2 or 3 days of runway shows during Fashion Week when Bryant Park and all of that was still happening, which was a fun time to be here. And so that really got me a lot of press. And then it helped me win awards and get actually invited to apply for awards. So that actually helped fund my studio for the first year, which was fabulous, and get me press and get into magazines. And it was cool. And I ended up doing like designer entrepreneur of New York City program. So I was one of the designers for that, which also helped me learn not just like crafts and artist community, but fashion community in New York. And so I have a lot of friends still from that, which is cool. Which are not completely all American handcrafted, but there's different levels. But it's interesting to know that and to live here and to have that part of the community too.
Yeah, and you have the personality that people seem to just kind of flock to you.
We have a good time. Yeah.
But you've also had to have some challenges over the past 15 years. Any one in particular that stands out that you're most proud of overcoming?
I feel like the pandemic was a big one for sure. I think every small business felt that, especially, and to still be here for all of us is like a huge deal. I feel super appreciative as a small business to have had the support I had during the pandemic, and we're still coming out of it. And it's still, we're still feeling like the reverberations of that. And I see a lot of businesses going out of business, a lot of small businesses. And I live in New York, and we've definitely been severely impacted that way. I would say the most recent one we've had. I mean, there's a lot of rejection in our field. There's a lot of no's. You don't get into everything. You have to be super flexible to continuously be evolving. And that's just, I feel like that's to be an artist in some ways. Your work cannot be completely stagnant. And I think that's emulated in your business as well. You have to kind of, it does get reflected in your business. You don't want to stagnant business either.
Yeah, as someone who's very business focused and business centric, I appreciate the way you run your business. And
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure to kind of work with you and be a partner with you. It's also been cool to see you grow your own kind of wholesale show that you've started to try to help support some of the younger artists. If you want to touch on that at all.
Yeah, we definitely were. I feel very honored to be doing this. I had started this. You guys were the first people that came to our first one. We did it it came out again naturally. We have now a 16-person or 16 brand designer show that we do twice a year in Chelsea, pretty close to Hudson Yards and Javits, and there's a lot of walkability and tightness there. And we do a party and a show and a presentation, kind of mixing some of that fashion background. That's what I did presentations, not just runway shows. So I thought I would bring that kind of feeling as well to our field and bring in lots of handmade jewelry that's American handcrafted, designers that have a huge barrier also to being at a big trade show because of the price, and it's hard to enter the market, especially right now. I think it can get quite expensive. So having some kind of having a way to kind of tiptoe in and see if it's right for them too, because it's also you can lose your shirt and people are not always prepared. So talking about lookbooks and preparation and doing marketing, huge. I do that. We prepare, we talk to everybody and prepare. We make it really community oriented so everyone's supported and can ask questions, which I really like. And I know I'm going to plug this. We're doing this new show in February, Made Our Show, which is going to be organized by Laura Hutchcroft. And that's going to be, I do jewelry and during New York Next, that's what I love and understand. Laura is opening this up to all American handcrafted. So it's going to be, ceramics, glass, different mediums, wood, jewelry. There's going to be people. It's perfect. It's going to be in conjunction with the American Craft Council retail show in Baltimore and Maryland the week before. So it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a celebration of craft.
Yep.
We should take it that way as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And to any other artists that are listening to this, we plan on going to that show as buyers. So we are very much encouraging as many people as possible to sign up for that show.
Yeah, that's me. I think it's gonna be fun. They have a good sign up list already. I've also been talking to other artists about it. I think it's just nice to have it's not crazy price as an artist. Right. And it's also a way to get your work out there. I'm excited to have a bigger wholesale showing than I generally have had in the past couple of years. Doing our hotel show is more of it's a smaller showing and it's more intimate and more of a part, and it's more networking in a lot of ways too. Whereas this is going to be more traditional booth setup.
Now, since we're talking about wholesale, do you have any suggestions for newer jewelers that are getting started in the field?
I think you should research the market. I think it's not okay for me. I told you I'm data driven, but yeah. I love I want to. You need to be looking. I think about it in both ways. Look at the business, but also look at the design. Understand what's going on in the market. Understand other designers, so you're not also unintentionally copying or unintentionally having inspiration. But also, you don't want to be saturating the market with something that's already there. I think that helps you to. I think that's helped me to develop my personal voice. To really constantly be looking and understanding and thinking about price. I look at prices too. Research pricing. It's an art, not a science. I like to say that because everyone asks me, what's the formula? What's the formula? I'm like, there's no formula. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. And also FIT, I will say FIT, if you do want to invest in a pricing program, the FIT pricing program is literally the best one I've ever seen. UPenn bought it for their economics program, and it talked so much about the art of it and branding and personal voice and uniqueness of design. They went so much more beyond just the formula. So I like that. I think also understand. I always tell people, what's your store list? Like, what stores do you put the goal list together, so you have the store list of people you want to work with, so you know where you're going, and then look at all the artists there and where do you fit in, so you're not replicating, making sure you're the right fit.
Yeah,
You know?
and last week we interviewed myself on the podcast, and Elena asked an interesting question of how do I view the future of the handmade and the craft industry? So I'm going to turn it to you and say, how do you view the future of craft and the handmade industry?
Okay, I'm like, I have to follow up on what you said. Okay, I now have to go back and listen to that one for sure, because I think this is the question in burning everyone's minds. Like, I'm kind of, I guess, mid-career and not end of career. So I'm very concerned about this because I want there to be a future. I think it's important, and I tell all my friends. I think it's also talking about it with people that are not part of our industry is a big deal. Where do I think it's going? I don't know where it's going. I think that it could go a lot of different ways. I think the internet's and social media, and I think video and what you guys are doing, podcasts and content, are becoming more and more important just to businesses in general, regardless, handmade, just small businesses, to survive. And that is difficult to put together. And it's a lot of energy, and it's a new way to market. Excuse me, that's not always clear. I think, especially as we're going forward, we're talking about economics times are like really unsure. We're going into a weird election. We're going into a weird time. Being flexible, putting yourself out there, I think are really important. Like trying new things, trying new ways to get to customers, and trying new designs too. Like, so you evolve your offerings to your customers that have been with you a long time. Mm-hmm. So they evolve with you.
Right, so be flexible, and you can't just stick and be the same old, same old.
I'm not trying to be Amazon.
Right.
Also, I think that's just never going to happen. It's impossible to compete in that way. So I try to bring other things to the table, but to still have customer service, be responsive, have different ways customers can reach you. Sometimes that's Instagram, sometimes that's email. Being consistent and following up are really important.
Yep. And new. There needs to be, newer artists coming in. And I think a lot of the newer artists are afraid of wholesale. So hopefully, anyone listening that's hearing you, hopefully they'll realize, there's benefits to this and get them excited for a show. So
also wholesale, I got to say, I'm going to put a plug for wholesale in here. People are like, oh, I'm going to do everything retail. Blah, blah. Okay, retail is expensive and hard for acquisition of clients. You'll burn yourself out. You need to have like partners in this that are going to also proliferate your work out to the world and give you like credibility as well. So it's really good. It's brand building in a lot of ways to be working with galleries. That's my plug also. I think I do talk to people too. They're like, I just do retail. I'm too afraid of wholesale. I'm like, they're like, I'm giving them my money away. I'm like, you're spending the money on retail, and that's expensive. It's expensive.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow as a business, you need to have partners.
All right. Well, we hope you all enjoyed hearing Meghan's story and kind of a little bit about how she started her business. I think one of the big takeaways that I took from it is a theme that we keep circling back to, our relationships. She talked about how when she was just starting out, one of her galleries kind of took her under their wing and helped her figure out what shows to get into, and how she has maintained those relationships with her stores that she's in, and even the artists that she's met along the way, how they have that camaraderie, and she kind of helps grow up other businesses as well. And, Meghan's still relatively new in the industry. She's been around for 15 years, which is a long time, but it's also not that much time if you think about it. And it's amazing to me what she's been able to accomplish in her 15 years. And really so much of it is is the relationships that she's had and those that have helped her along the way. So I think that was the coolest thing to me that I took from the interview.
And I think it's also interesting how a couple weeks ago we interviewed Scott Gerald, who's one of our glass blowers that we love, and his work is incredible. And Scott wasn't a professional glass blower from the beginning. It was something that he just started on a whim and then kind of became a professional. And he's one of the most talented glass blowers that we've had. And same with Megan. She just got tired of writing government contracts and fell in love with the art of making jewelry and unique jewelry, and she just started. And I think it just reinforces the idea that for anyone that's interested in art, it's not going to be easy, but if you're ever considered trying it, start, see what happens. And you never know that you may start as a hobby or as a something to do once you retire, and it could become a profession, or it could be something that can just pay for itself. So you just never know. And if it's something you're interested in doing, give it a shot. Who knows? There's enough classes out there that, we need more art in this world, and we need more unique ideas. So if you have an idea, try it, see what happens.
And I know another thing that Megan had mentioned that kind of goes along with what you just said is that she said if you're new in the industry, you really want to pay attention to what other people are doing and make sure you're doing something different. And that's one thing that I feel as a buyer I'm seeing a lot lately is that everyone's doing the same thing. And it's hard to find that person that really is doing something different. And that's one of the things that makes Megan's work stand out so much is I've never seen anyone do what she does. So you can tell that she really spent a lot of time perfecting her craft and her designs, and then she went for it. And I think that's really important because we still want original ideas. You can be inspired by other people. I think it might have even been our interview with Mom where she said, if you're a clay artist, don't necessarily look at just clay, look at other mediums, because that way you're going to take things from other artists and not copy what they're doing. And I think that's kind of what Megan's saying too, is you want to be inspired by, but don't copy. And that's really going to make you go far in this business as well. Because if you stand out, especially if you're an artist that's looking into doing a show and you want to stand out to a buyer, you want to do something that's different and exciting.
Yeah, and then just start, and see what happens. You may not like it, but it could turn into something awesome. I know with the t-shirt company, some of my designs from what they look like when I started to what they look like when they end are completely different. So you just have to just jump in and try and see what happens. We hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. We're trying to bring in different artists, different mediums, people with different backgrounds, so you can really get to know the artists that we sell. Again, the coolest thing about our industry is the people behind the work. And that's what we love to try to sell you guys on. We don't necessarily want to sell you the item. We want to sell you the story. So you can really learn and educate you on who made this piece of jewelry, who blew the glass that you collected, all the various items that we have. We want you to know who it is, as opposed to a machine that's cranking it out or a printer that just keeps recreating prints.
Yep.
So what we're trying to do with the Shapiro's Rooted in American Craft is really share their story with you, so you can really understand what goes into every piece and understand why some of the pieces are more expensive than other pieces, and why some of the mass-produced pieces that you can buy at other stores are less expensive. When you start seeing the love and the passion that goes into Megan's work, that's what we really want to share with you. And that's part of the reason we started this podcast, is so you can really learn everything about the work.
Yep.
We're excited for next week. We're bringing in one of almost our original artists. I'm not going to say older artists, but one of our original. She's been with us for quite a while. And many of you that are listening probably have some of her work, and it's Leonie who does all of our amazing wall clocks. It's amazing that she can make something so simple as a clock into something so artistic and creative.
Yep.
And it's been fun as I've grown up. I've grown up kind of with Leonie, and when I first met her to when now, like, I'm sharing ideas with her, and she now calls Elena and I for ideas and suggestions on how to create, tweak, modify, and kind of improve her line. So for someone who's very successful and very established in the marketplace, she's still wanting to learn new and different and evolve and continue to grow her lines. So I'm excited for next week. You'll get to meet another artist. Leonie Laquette is her last name, and she's from upstate New York, and she's a clock artist. So I'm excited for that. So make sure you guys don't miss any of the episodes. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Shapiro's Rooted in American Craft. All of them have a notification button somewhere on them that you can enable, and it'll what they call push right to your page, so you'll be able to wake up Thursday morning and hear or see Elena and I's beautiful face every week. And it'll make sure that you don't miss a single episode. So make sure you're doing that. And any feedback you guys have, we love, we appreciate, and continue to share it with us and like and tell your friends and do the social media thing and retweet and repost and read Facebook and whatever else there is out there. We're having fun with it. We have a cool 5 or 6 episodes lined up now. So we're excited about those in the coming weeks. So definitely make sure you're subscribing, following, liking SHAPIRO'Gallery.com. If you can't find us, go to the website. I know there's a tab on our website that you can get directly to the podcast.
Yep.
So another episode in the books.
We did it.
We did it. Megan was this week. Leonie is next week. Everyone had a relaxing Labor Day weekend, so they're going to come in and shop and check out the new items. And really now, until pretty much the end of the year, new stuff's coming in almost daily. So we will try to keep you updated as best as we can on here, on social media, about all the new items from big pieces to small pieces, from stocking stuffers to birthday gifts. We're getting a lot of awesome stuff in the next few weeks and few months. So definitely make sure you're staying updated with us.
Yeah, I've been working on purchase orders for the last couple of weeks, and I'm getting re-excited about stuff that's coming in. So it's going to be an awesome season. So I hope everyone really, comes in and enjoys all of it.
Awesome. And mark your calendars, October 12th. We are having a block party on 300 Beach Drive. All the businesses on and around the gallery are going to have something special, whether it's drink specials, waffle cone demonstration, live painting demo, live music. Some of the bars will be setting up outside. Some of the restaurants will have some unique items for you. It should be a fun event. It's going to be like the start of fall. October 12th is a Saturday. 4 o'clock the event starts. So mark your calendars. Tell your friends. Come on down. It's also on the art walk. So do the art walk and then stop by the gallery and enjoy what's going on the block.
Yeah, it should be a fun time.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this thing up?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. Thank you guys for another awesome episode. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.